Welcome, NASCAR fans, to another weekday edition of NASCAR Chat, the YouTube show where we're going to discuss the latest goings-on in the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series. My name is David Whitlock here in Houston, Texas. I also go by LHD on Sports on Twitter. I'm pleased to have both of my co-hosts back this week for the first time in a while. We'll start with Lexie from Charlotte. How are things going this evening in Charlotte, North Carolina, Miss Lexie?
It's pretty good. Storming a lot, though.
Yeah, we were talking before the show that here in Texas, it's still been dry, at least southeast Texas, but I know most of the southeast is getting a lot of rain, and let's get a weather report and a welcome back to Kells from Pennsylvania. It's great to have you back, and how are you this evening, and how's the weather in Pennsylvania?
I'm good. It's been raining for days now, and I'm waiting for it to stop.
Send it my way. We will take it here as soon as you guys can give it to us. I want to talk a little bit personally about both of these young ladies. They're both finishing up semesters, and one of them is graduating this weekend. So congratulations to Lexie for graduating this weekend. She just got off work and was like, my graduation weekend started. So congratulations on a major accomplishment.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
And no more school for you for now, but and then Kells, as always, and you just finished this semester as well?
Yep, I cannot wait to start my new career path next semester.
Which is going to be?
Legal studies, paralegal.
Very nice. Very good. These ladies are going places. They're already going places on their blog, The Ladies in Black. All the information is at the bottom of this YouTube show, so I encourage you to go check out the Ladies in Black blog, and definitely check out their Twitter accounts. That's where the real action is, especially during the race, where you get some really live and raw inputs, particularly from Lexie sometimes. So we'll get started. Last week's race was, of course, in Kansas Saturday night. A pretty entertaining race, particularly at the end. There were several wrecks at the end. Once again, Kevin Harvick came out on top. We have mixed feelings about that. Some of us are ready for new winners. Some of us would rather have some of their favorite drivers win, but this time we'll start with Lexie. So Harvick won. What's your reaction to that? And we'll get into the Chase Elliott thing in a minute, but what the last stage with all the wrecks, what were your feelings on how it all finished up?
Very wild. Very, very, very wild. That one big wreck with William Byron and Matt Kenseth and Ryan Newman, that was crazy. I'm so glad everybody's okay from that. Yeah, mixed feelings about Harvick winning again, but you can't be too mad. He's having a great season so far, so I hope that carries on into the chase.
Right, it was Truex, who really hadn't ran well all day, found himself after some of the cautions there up at the top. He ran a decent last stage, but you could just see Harvick running him down. Kells, how much of the race did you get to see, and what were your thoughts on Harvick winning again, and any other reaction to the finish?
Of course, I saw the beginning, and then I saw the end of it. And Harvick winning, I'm like, meh, because of course, the one and only time I ever picked Truex to win in my league that is for money, of course, he doesn't win. So the whole time I'm just banking on Truex to win. I'm like, yes, this is going to be great. And then Harvick wins again, and I'm like, oh my gosh. I just wanted to win.
That's basically how I felt too.
I mean,
yeah.
Not that right. I like Harvick. It's just when one driver starts to win a lot, you like to see something different. I mean, it's really awesome that he's having an amazing season. And my little sister, she's a Kevin Harvick fan. So it's really cool to see her be happy that Harvick won, because that's her driver and that's awesome. So.
Yeah, it's there's always a week next week. I like how when the drivers do wreck out, that the first reaction is it's on to fill in the blank of where the next week is. In this case, Charlotte for 2 weeks, which we'll get to in a minute. So one of the interesting things that happened kind of during the last lap, battling for position, Chase Elliott and Ricky Stenhouse Jr. were kind of mixing it up, not way back in the pack, but clearly in a position that they weren't racing to win, but they were just getting under each other's skin. So we'll let Kells have the first word on this. What what do you think about how both drivers reacted? Chase Elliott went over to talk to Stenhouse. There wasn't any real physical confrontation, but he did walk over there to talk to him. What was your take on what you saw there and then in the media afterwards?
I actually didn't see this. Like, don't ask me how, but I didn't. But, you know, of course, like, I like both of them, and, you know, I guess I don't even know. It feels like a test I didn't study for.
Right. Now, a lot of it, I don't think they showed a lot of it on the TV there. It was mostly kind of the next day, but they were kind of getting into it. We'll let Lexie fill in some of the blanks and some of the color commentary, which I'm sure she will not be shy to share. Explain what happened and how, what's your reaction to how the drivers behaved?
Don't get mad at me, Kelly. I love you so much. I basically what happened was Ricky Stenhouse did a slide job on Chase Elliott on I want to say it was the last lap of the race. He didn't hit him. He never touched him, but because obviously Chase backed off a little bit. But at least that's what I saw. But I guess Chase just got really mad about that, and that's what the confrontation was about. But honestly, Chase needs to get over himself, because that's just really so stupid how he just went up and confronted him.
Like, says the Kyle Busch fan.
I said don't get mad at me. I'm going to be honest here, Kelly. So that's just how I felt. You know how I felt, Dave. We talked about it in the DMs on Twitter.
Right. Yeah, we may have had some side conversations that, well, here's my take is all other things being neutral, I want to see a lot of different drivers win. I think Chase Elliott's a talented young driver. I think he's still learning the limits. What I think I saw was I think the race had been decided, like you said, on the last lap, the race had already been decided. The checker flag was down, and they kind of just kept going at it because one wasn't going to give in to the other. And as Larry Mack described later, it was basically he was being ridden hard. Stenhouse was being aggressive, as he should be, to defend his position, did something Chase didn't like, and then at the end of the day, Chase didn't seem to take it. I don't know if he thought that maybe he should back off because the race was almost over or not, but it ended up being another dust up. Like I said, it wasn't quite as bad as the one with Denny or some of the other ones, but we'll see. I'd like to see Chase keep it together and run well, but that was not his day. Maybe future day will be. Another outcome of this week's race in Kansas, which just came out today, I think, was a surprise penalty for Kyle Larson, who was penalized for the rear windshield, which seems to be the most popular thing going around NASCAR these days. A guy that, from my knowledge, hasn't been suspended or anything yet. Lexie, take us through what your thoughts on that. I think it was 20 points and another car chief or crew chief suspension. What happened, and what do you think the impacts are?
Well, basically, it's the same situation that's happened with Chase and Kevin. Basically, he just had the rear window indented again, but he claimed that it was because of the wreck that he was in earlier with Ryan Blaney, which honestly I kind of believed at first because I didn't notice the indentation before that. But then another picture came out of I guess it was like a little bit of an indentation by the last letter of his last name. So that kind of threw me off a little bit, but I kind of expected the penalty to come. But yeah, his crew chief will be on the box for the AllStar race, but his suspension starts next week at the 600, and it'll be for the 600 in Pocono I think it's the following week. Yeah. So another harsh penalty. These guys have got to stop with that.
Yeah. Did they expect to get away with it, or what? It just seems pretty obvious because there's so much videotape, and of course they do such much inspections. Kells, what are your thoughts on that Larson suspension and anything else associated with these penalties?
I don't know. I've been seeing like a lot of these penalties. It seems like a lot. I don't know if it's just me. It seems a lot more common, but I don't really have any thoughts on it. I mean, at least they're going to be consistent about it, I guess.
I agree. I agree.
Like, if you're going to give one person, then everyone just continue to be consistent about it. I did see a lot, though, too, like you pointed out, about how he mentioned it wasn't until after the wreck with Blaney. But I didn't really look at anything like from before. I had just seen a lot of people point out on Twitter that it seemed to be after the wreck. But I don't know.
I mean, you can't really tell the indentation until somebody mentions it. So, I mean, I don't know how people can see it like before everybody else finds out about it, but I don't know.
Yeah, my take is if you don't like the driver, you'll see it really, really quickly. And if you do like the driver, you'll start to make the excuses of, oh, this wreck and that wreck. But it's unfortunate. I want to see clean racing. I want to see all the teams comply with the standards. Another thing that came out this week, and we haven't talked about this, was I guess they made a new rule or ruling today about qualification tires, and you don't have to start on your qualification tires. I know, Lexie, you retweeted this. What are the impacts of this decision?
I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. I think that that's a great rule change, though, because, I mean, I know that, like, if you fail inspection, I think it's 3 times, you have to start on those tires, I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that's a great decision by NASCAR because, I mean, some guys have been starting on their tires that they qualified with, and then some other guys start on brand new tires. So I guess we'll just have to see how this rule change affects the races.
Yeah, some people thought that I guess there could be an advantage gained by starting in the back even with the new tires. Kells, any thoughts on this rule change and how it might change strategy or anything like that?
I don't really have any thoughts. Just basically what Lexie said. I'm not going to sit here and repeat all the same stuff. I'll save us some time.
Fair enough. Well, we'll move on to this week's AllStar Race. And we all were trying to do homework before the show because they changed the rules on us quickly. But there's several stages of short laps, either 40, 30, 20, 10, something like that, and a limited number of drivers. It's in Charlotte, where Lexie's from, so we'll give her the first. We'll give Kells the first word on this one since she had to wait last time. But who are you pulling for this week, and who do you expect to see perform well at the race?
Obviously, I'm pulling for Chase Elliott, but I'd like to see Hendrick as a whole thrive. Actually, I'd like to see Chevy as a whole.
It's been a rough year.
It's been a rough couple weeks for Chevy, so I'd like to see somebody. Or just even like a couple people running up there, top 3, top 5, like all Chevy. That would be nice.
And for a counterpoint, let's get Lexie's opinion on what she'd like to see this week.
I just want to see basically new drivers up there. Like Kelly said, new drivers, even if it's Chevy. I don't freaking care. New drivers, not the same old people, but it's Charlotte is. I've been going to the races at Charlotte long enough to know that Charlotte is pretty much like Kansas. Like I mentioned in last week's show, it's unpredictable. You never know who's going to win there. It's mainly in past years it has favored Chevy, but lately it's been favoring every of the manufacturers. So I guess we'll just have to see what happens. But I'm Team JGR.
I just want to see new drivers and some entertainment.
There we go. Yeah, let's get some guys. I don't want to say mixing it up, but at least less. Some of the races we've seen recently, which is a great thing, have been devoid of serious accidents. Last week it was a pretty clean race until the end. I think will happen. Of course, you get these short stints, these 20-lap races, stages, so to speak. That we'll see some guys be aggressive. We'll see some people try to pull some things off. Like you guys, I hope to see some new drivers up at the front. We'll see how it goes, and of course, report back next week. So we'll wrap up the show now, and I appreciate you both for being here. I'll give you one last chance to shout out for somebody this week or anything else. Start with Kells.
Well, happy birthday to you, since your birthday was yesterday, right?
It was yesterday. Thank you very much.
But happy birthday again. Was it a good one?
It was good. I spent some time with my folks and stuff on Monday, and not doing much yesterday, which is the way I like it. So
Good.
All right. What about you, Lexie?
I have to say is that next week I will come more prepared.
Okay. Well, certainly glad to have you back. Lexie, any thoughts, shout outs? You got an exciting weekend ahead of you.
I do. I graduate Friday and the AllStar Race is on Saturday, so it's gonna be a good weekend. I have all weekend off from work, so it's gonna be fantastic. But I just hope everybody enjoys the AllStar Race. I'll be at the 600 next weekend, so let me know if you're going.
Absolutely. Tweet at her, comment on this, but we'll definitely talk about the Coca-Cola 600 next week. But until then, thank you both for being here. We'll see you guys next time on NASCAR Chat.